Let's talk about whether or not you should be taking a recovery drink. Hey guys, it's Dave, and I've been getting a lot of questions lately about whether a recovery drink is right for you or not. So this is what people are asking me, should I be taking a recovery formula? How important is that? Why is it important? So let's start with what I want to do today is I want to show you some different options for recovery drinks. I also want to talk to you a little bit about the theories behind recovery. I'm not going to go super in detail on that one. Mainly want to focus on sort of options for you. Let's start with why recovery is really important. So when you're exercising vigorously, you're burning your primary source of energy for vigorous exercise is a substance called glycogen. And glycogen is really just your body's fuel, okay? That's the first place it's going to go look for when you really start to push yourself hard. So notice I'm saying words like vigorous, pushing yourself hard. All right, you know you're burning glycogen when you're working out at a level where you wouldn't be able to have a conversation, okay? If during your workouts you need a timeout and you need to take a break and it's a little too rough for you to continue, maybe you need to hit pause, or maybe it's just a little Shaun T moment where you need to tap out for a second, you're probably burning through a lot of glycogen, okay? If you're going for a walk and on that walk you're on the phone, you're having a conversation with somebody, that's not a moment where you're burning a lot of glycogen. I'm not saying you couldn't get decent exercise from that. Walking's great for you, but it's not something that you want to have hit a recovery drink afterwards. So let's talk a little bit about recovery formulas and how they work and what happens. Most recovery formulas, whether Beachbodies or not, contain a lot of sugar, okay? So why? Because what happens when your body takes in sugar, your blood sugar levels rise, insulin is excreted from your pancreas. The insulin helps convert that sugar into our friend glycogen so that the next time you go work out, boom, you're ready to go. So, like I said, if you've just gone for a walk, you haven't burned through glycogen. You're probably just relying on fat as your primary source of energy for activity like that. You don't want to have 40 to 50 grams of sugar pumped into your body. That's a lot of sugar that you just don't need, okay? So if your goal is weight loss and you're not exercising at a super vigorous level, you really shouldn't be considering something like this, in my opinion, okay? This is just one man's opinion, but that's my opinion. This is just more sugar than you need. If you're killing it and you're doing Asylum, you're going for long, vigorous bike rides, you're doing even some of the new PiYo workouts, or the drench workout is just ridiculous. It's super hard. I have to tap out. I need a timeout. This is a great option for me after something like that because I know I'm going through glycogen. So let's talk about some of the different options. Run through these pretty quickly. The first one is Fuel Shot. These are, again, Beachbody options. There are a lot of other recovery formulas that are out there. These are the ones that I use, so these are the ones I'm talking about. 210 calories, 47 grams of carbohydrate, 24 of which are sugars, and 5 grams of protein. This is a pretty simple product, okay? It's basically, I don't want to just say it's basically just sugar, but it's basically just sugar, okay? This is a good product if you're adding it to something else, okay? Whether it's another shake that you're making and you want to get the carb count up. This is a really good product. On its own, it just kind of tastes like sugary water. It doesn't have a strong flavor that I'm really a fan of. It's a good product, but it's not my favorite product. Let's talk about things that I do more frequently use. And I have used Fuel Shot. I will also say, if your goal is to gain weight, if you're trying to put on some muscle, gain some weight, recovery formula is really going to help you do that. And almost every weight gainer diet that I've seen tends to be fairly high in carbohydrate. When I've done that in the past, I've really had to rely on something like Fuel Shot because I couldn't get the carbs in otherwise, okay? So let's talk a little bit about recovery formula, or the Results and Recovery formula from P90X that I like a little bit more, and here's why. Just the numbers: 220 calories, you have 40 grams of carbohydrates, 26 of which are sugar, and 10 grams of protein instead of 5. So a little more protein, a little less carbohydrate, but other than that, kind of calorie, they're very, very similar. The big difference is what else this has in it. It has amino acids, first of all, so those are your building blocks of protein and muscle. So amino acids are great. It also has creatine in it, okay? And so creatine's a naturally occurring substance. It helps with muscle volume. And there's also a lot of studies that have shown that if you're trying to build muscle, which we all should be trying to do, whether you're trying to get huge or just trying to replace some muscle with fat, you want to be building muscle. Creatine helps with that, and this has a serving of creatine in it. Now, it's probably a half a serving from what you would normally take. Most people would take about 10 grams of creatine per serving. This has 5, so it's got a little bit less, but it's got it in there. Now, if you eat a lot of meat, you probably have enough creatine in your diet, but if you don't, something like this can really, really help you. Again, if you're in that vigorous exercise mode, okay? So I do like this product. The other thing about it, it tastes amazing, okay? Back in the day when this first came out, we called it the crack. It tastes like an orange creamsicle. Why? It's because it's got a bunch of sugar in it, right? So it tastes really, really good. And so that's the other thing I like about it. It tastes really, really good. And I'll sometimes put this like in my water bottle if I'm going for a really long bike ride. Put some of this with some energy and endurance formula in my water bottle, and I've got rocket fuel, okay? So the last thing I want to talk about for recovery is Shakeology. And I don't think we often think of Shakeology as a recovery drink. This is probably the one that I use more than any other, is Shakeology. And why? Because it's so diverse. If you don't know anything about Shakeology, you've got over 70 all-natural ingredients, vitamins, minerals, probiotics, adaptogens, all this stuff that's in here. So what I know is when I'm pushing myself, I'm not just expending glycogen. I'm not just burning through glycogen. I'm also burning through a lot of different minerals in my body. I'm sweating, right? So I'm losing all this stuff. It's a great time to put it all back in post-workout, and this is one of the things I use. Now, numbers-wise, 160 calories, so a little bit lower in calories. This is the chocolate one. They're all similar. 17 grams of protein, 17 grams of carbs. If I've not had a super vigorous cardiovascular workout, I don't need to add a whole lot to this, okay? If I have, and I want to use Shakeology as a recovery formula, so let's say I did, maybe Drench from Pio or an Insanity workout, or I went for a really gnarly bike ride or something like that, I would add some juice. Now, I wouldn't add juice to the chocolate because that's just kind of gross. Unless there's some sort of juice. I don't even know what kind of juice you'd add. It's just chocolate is what I had out here in the office, so that's why I'm handling it. I would use like the greenberry or the vanilla or the strawberry, and I would mix it with some orange juice, okay? Or another type of juice. We have, a couple different juices. I don't drink a whole lot of juice because it's got sugar in it. And so that's a time when I'm okay with getting some more sugars in it. That's another option for you. I think, looking at all these different things is good. I hope I've given you a little bit of understanding about why recovery is important, or why having a recovery formula is important, and why it may be counterproductive to you if you're not working out at that really, really vigorous level and you want to lose weight. It's just more sugar in your diet, and I just don't feel like that's the best recommendation, okay? But if you're working out hard and you're burning through a lot of glycogen and you're tapping into a lot of different resources for your body, it can be a really, really great option. Hope it's something you'll consider. I hope you found this video informative. If I can answer any questions for you, please do not hesitate to email me at info@thefitclubnetwork.com, or just click on the link here on the screen and you can get more information about who we are, what we do, and maybe I can help you get the results you want. Hey guys, it's Dave Ward, and I've been getting a lot of questions lately about whether somebody